the change I needed video.
So in discussion with her, I gave her 3 different choices, which included a shorter cut. Others included leaving all the length, but just adding some softer layers, stuff like that. But this is the direction she chose to go. This time, the interest she had was in cutting it a bit shorter and putting it into a disconnected kind of cut that will allow for movement. She could literally take this particular cut and shake her head and it'll go into place. Now, the way in which I did this was to separate from the occipital bone underneath and to add layering in there via a razor, point cutting, and other techniques, and then to do so similarly, but with less aggression on the side. Okay, so let's start with the change that we're going to make here. It is a bit different than what you're used to. What I'm about to show you is a demonstration of the kind of texture I'm talking about. It's not going to be a demonstration of the exact technique I used, because I used a razor, and I used a razor from the occipital bone area down through the lower length, or the even the nape area, or what could have been the nape area. I'm not showing you that though. I'm showing you slide cutting on the back of the head in general, because you can see the texture. In fact, you could slide cut instead of using a razor if you wanted to, and if you had sharp enough shears. So don't think that because I used a razor that you have to. It's the texture I was after. But also what I need you to do is pay close attention, because the demonstration is cutting much higher than what I would actually do on this shorter cut, much higher. In fact, like I said, I started the occipital bone and went down. Something else you want to keep in mind that is that when I got done with it, I then started letting, after I sectioned off the occipital bone, cut it, and then I went back to the occipital bone, and piece by piece I brought down my horizontal sections to that area, and then I cut it with a razor, and I used the mid portion of the razor, giving it a thicker version. I didn't lay the blade on the flat of the plane and thin it out. I used it at an angle so that I could get a chunkier version. I hope to show you an example of that in the future. Right now, I just simply don't have the time. You know what it's like. Sometimes things get away from you. Anyhow, this will give you the idea. Be sure and pay attention to the parting, or the sectioning I use on the shorter haircut, and you'll have sure success. By the way, experiment on a mannequin.
It's the change I needed video.